at work. Can you speak to the value of gang organization?
The Blood and Crip organizations in LA and Folk People Nation in Chicago began as groups intended to bring unity and stability to their communities. The three primary purposes of these groups were: 1, to secure resources; 2, protect the community; 3, reinvest in the community. These groups were never intended to contribute to black-on-black violence. They served as rites of passage programs for young people in the community who may not have a stable home environment. The oral tradition held a strong role in helping to shape these youngsters into productive men and women. No one was able to advance within the organization without the passage and the history written by the unwritten rules. The original acronyms for Crips: Community Revolution in Progress, Conscious Revolution in Progress, Community Reform for Independence, Community Revolutionary in the Party Service. Now, Come Ruthless and Provoked, Criminals Running a Partner, California Revolutionary Independent Pistol Slingers, Collecting My Respect and Power Sex. Blood was originally used as a term in Vietnam meaning brothers. People fighting for the same struggle were called brothers. Some of the principles of that come up in brotherly love, overriding oppression's destruction. Brotherly love overrides oppression's dominion. Paru used to be called Politically Incorrect Revolution United. Powerful Intellectual Radical United Soldier. Panthers in red uniform. Now Parus are pimps in red uniforms. Okay, so when you speak about the G's, every single last G, from New York to Jersey to down south to LA, everybody's force flagging, everybody's force claiming, ain't nobody real and representing what Crip is or Blood is or people or folk. Everybody's whack. I just read to you the original intent. Now, one thing about our people is we talk about keeping it real. Right?
Yes, sir.
Nobody's keeping it fucking real. According to the original document. Now, we talk about we original. Well, we want to G-check somebody. What sex you claim? Where you from? What's your roll call? We want to, where you from? Well, you ain't real to me, homie. Right? You ain't real to me. But you ain't real to me. Because you ain't representing your lineage. You have not, your bloodline has been shattered, has been toxified, has been cut off. You're dead. Right. You're not a real blood. Yeah. You're not a real Crip. You're not a real folk, and you're not a real people. Because I don't see none of this services and resources for the community. I don't see protecting the community. I don't see reinvesting in the community. So I don't know what the fuck you claiming. And ain't nobody speaking like that. And until all these organizations and these big brother organizations, I call them the big brother organizations, you know what I'm saying, the OG Panthers, the New Panther Party, the Hebrew Israelites, the different African Kemetic revolutionary services in here, the different nations of Islam services, until the big homies come up in there and snatch little homies up and start G-checking all of these little homies. Ain't gonna be no shift. Now, and while all y'all felt his spirit right there, my soul was crying when he spoke up just now. This is, see, my question to y'all, I'm getting questions is, what you gonna, I can go on, I can drop the knowledge in the, I live this. This ain't no fucking fashion show. I come from this. So, my thing is, what are you gonna do when leaving here? I need to know what you gonna do when you leave here with this. What I'm dropping on you, what I'm specifically giving. Because if you're not gonna go reach to these little YGs and little homies out here who's being banged into the set and left home, you know what I'm saying? They bring home, you bring a whole fucking hood home and you leave them there. Like kids in your own house that you don't father or mother, they run rampant. And that's why they destroy the hood, because nobody's raising these little homies up. You rape these sisters in the set, bang them literally into the set, leave them there. So unless nobody's gonna go out here and really do something with this knowledge and information, it don't really mean know what I'm talking about. It don't really mean me dropping the original principles and nothing, nobody's gonna enforce it. Now, if you want to change the construct, I'm gonna go a little more into that, but real quick, you want to change the construct of the music, you gotta change the streets. It all comes out to the streets. The G's represent the ground zero of the streets. If we get the G's back to this. They own science. They may not go to Islam direct, even though the Islam is there. They might not go to Kemet direct, even though Kemet is there for them. All of our legacy is there. The more science, it's all for them. But you gotta get the G's with their own stuff.
Yes.
You can't talk about the God body science. The God body science is in this, right? But first you have to get them with their history. Once you let a Crip know, homie, what you cripping on? He starts telling all this stuff. If he ain't telling you CRIP, Community Revolution of Progress, you ain't no Crip. When you can say that to him, he go, what? I ain't no Crip. And you tell him, well, brother, if you ain't cripping how Crip came from it, when it started to you, how you cripping?
That's right.
How you cripping to me? How you blood if you ain't the blood of the black race? If black was identifying black people. And you ain't soup whooping yourself out of poverty. And soup whooping some economic empowerment for your people. You ain't no blood. But you ain't gonna come at it like that. You ain't gonna respect that. The G's ain't gonna salute that. Because you got the opposite homies saying what I'm saying, the same tone, with the sick force. Okay? And going into their mind opposite.
Right.
So unless you're gonna step up and G up and talk to me in that tone and speak to their soul. Ain't about no goddamn flag.
Right.
It's about their soul. This is the first flag right here. We flag every day. You better bring them back to that. So if you want to change the wacko flacko flames, talking about peace, blood, and you want to change Little Wayne, it's everybody's blood now. That's in the 90s when it was cripping. Everybody was cripping. You ain't hear about no blood because the West Coast, that was predominantly what it was. And the West Coast, Crips outnumbered the Bloods. And that culture in the 90s was prominent. The transition came when Pac was with Suge. That was the kind of the blood thing starting to formulate.
That's right.
So people just think that New York just came up on it. Man, this has been here for over 15 years, man. In New York and Jersey has been dealing with this disease for over 15 years. This ain't about no Dipset, about no Rain saying no game. This is ground zero. We've been dealing with this. In '93, homies was talking about blood in the hood. When my tier was low lives and decepts. That's right. We were here behind the wall, but we was in jacket and actually getting money. Like whatever. Now my family's from South Central. That's where my G-line goes back. Okay? So I'm going back and forth to New York and South Central, and I'm coming to New York like, I'm not really hearing it like, no, this ain't happening. Not saying it can't happen. Like the Panthers, they spread. So like anything spread. They say Islam spread. You know, we gonna spread. Because we blood. We our people. We gonna spread. Right? Come on. Okay. But it happened. It happened, keep up behind the wall. After the Million Man March, that fall, after the Million Man March, it was all you saw was slashes. I couldn't believe it. 95, after the Million Man March, it was a wrap. How come all these millions of black men coming together and now we slashing in the hood? That's right. You couldn't even wear red in New York. Nowhere. Nowhere if it was not from the hood. My hood happened to just be all blood. Period. Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy predominantly. Flatbush, later on, Crips started popping up, but it was a little later. It was just blood at first. Right? That was the thing. Dipset came a little later. They started in Harlem, they had their movement, started talking about those things, put it out there. Everybody thought it was just about y'all trying to be like this. They understand what's happening in the streets. In the East Coast, this is really, really happening. People are dying, funerals are happening, mothers are crying. It's not fake when black people are dying and incarcerated. It's fake. West Coast, when we are burying young kids, that's fake blood and cripping. Oh, they're not from Chicago. They're not really folking people, but they got bullets in their head. Their bodies is their brains on the concrete. That's fake. Okay? Change the environment. You change the music. The rappers ain't gonna do it. The corporate is neutral, like they said earlier. If it's popping with the unity, they gonna support it. But the people make it popping. You gotta wake up. If you don't G up, it ain't gonna change. You gotta get your little brothers and sisters and hold them accountable. That's it. We're gonna go back around. I'm just gonna say that if you ain't original intent, you ain't no G. And I tell this to my brothers in the West Coast, to the South, to Chicago and New York. If your blood and your cuz ain't for the future of your kids to survive in this situation here. And if it's not going in the direction to take your set, your tribe, and your organization, and your hood to nation and to race, if your thing is not race, like how the Mexican Mafia is La Raza, their whole thing is about the race, if you ain't about your people, you're dead. That's right. You're dead. It don't fly. But if you don't go out here and move on that and stand on that, it won't fly. I live it. It is what it is. And I say it, I don't tie nothing back. I got 100 million ancestors walking and watching over me and moving with me. So it ain't no goddamn fear nowhere. This is what it is. Nigga tell me, yo, with the blue and red, you trying to be both? I am that I am. Yes, a shining beast, a dweller in light. I am all that I am all. I am the blood of the black man and woman. How dare you voice your voice to me and not acknowledging who you stand before? I'm not no nigga. I ain't your regular G. I'm a force. And if I can inspire you to be a force, then you go out here and you force something.
Yes, sir.
You change one or two little homies, you bring them up, you raise them up, and you force them and you empower them with whatever principles you're talking about. That's right. You empower them. This is a bigger metaphor here. This ain't just about the fucking red and blue. This is you got the Israel, you got the Arabs, right? Okay, you got the 5, you got the 6, you got the tetrahedron unification between the male and female energy. You got the blue for the mother spirit, okay? You got the blue, the water intuition, right brain. You got the left brain, the fire, the aggression, the father, the fire, Allah. Okay, the 5-pointed star. This is the science. This is the science. I walk with this to reach your inner mind. Because when you see me and say, what the fuck, I want you to walk with what the fuck. What the fuck did that nigga just wear? And don't forget it. That's right. And remember it. And may it charge something in you to charge someone else. Because we don't got enough of us walking with the what the fuck. Pass